Okay, so the first of two videos that are going to come out today. This is the only public video that's coming out today. The rest, the second video I'm going to make later, is for members only. And if you want to find out about that, click the join button at the bottom of the video here, the blue join button, and you can see the options that you've got to get access to extra material. I'm going to be making a lot of it this week. I've got several videos that are definitely going to come out this week, one today at least. Anyway, what we're going to look at today in this video is part 5 of the reading and use of English section of the C2 Cambridge exam, the proficiency exam, and 2 points per correct answer in this part of the exam, so you've got to be careful. A lot of people see that it's a long activity and think, oh, it's just 6 questions, but you get 2 points per correct answer, so do spend enough time on this part of the exam. Obviously parts 1, 2, 3 and 4, I think you should get through them fairly quickly. As you get better at it, the more you practice parts 1, 2, 3 and 4, the better you'll get at them and the more quickly you'll be able to get through them. Part 5 does require a bit of time though. So it's a long text. We're going to read the text first, then have a look at the questions, and we'll go back and highlight the bits of the text where I think you should have found the correct answers. Some people like to read the questions first. To be honest, I kind of read the text and read the questions at the same time, but for purposes of the video, I'm just going to start by reading the text here on the right hand side of the screen. So let's go for it. It says, the title is Jesus and the Aubergines, I believe. Okay. My husband spent August wondering whether he wanted to leave me or not. Interesting. I didn't seem to be involved in the decision, so I filled the time by going on a diet of raw vegetables. I followed the instructions exactly from a book I bought purely on the strength of the photograph on the front cover. It was of a model with long blonde hair, bright eyes, and the sort of smile you thought could only belong to rich American children. I knew that wasn't true because my husband had fallen in love with a girl with perfect white teeth, and she came from Nottingham. Right, okay, let's move on. I loved that book. At a time when everything was falling down around me, it gave me rules to help me through my life. I even had a task to do each day with a little box to tick when I had finished. I don't think I've ever been so satisfied as when I was ticking those boxes. The book was just one of many things I lost when my husband finally left, but I can still remember the instructions. Place yourself directly in front of a market trader's stall and put your arms out in front of you at shoulder level. Then walk slowly towards the produce until your hands are an inch away from touching. Stand still for several minutes and you will be able to feel the vibrations of goodness moving directly from the vegetables to your own body. I think it does you good to realize there are people so innocent that they think you can still do something like that in public and get away with it. About 6 months later, I was at the supermarket. I prefer to go late in the evening so I can miss all those young mothers doing family shops. They look at my simple purchases with so much pity. I had just reached the vegetables when I was struck by a vision of a Jesus figure, arms raised, blessing the aubergines. A gurgle rose up from me, and I was away. I tried everything, but I could not stop laughing. It was loud too. Not the snort, not the sort of watery chuckle you can get away with. My body was rocking so hard I had to hold on tight to the trolley with both hands. and there were tears rolling down my cheeks. All I could think about were those bloody aubergines. I could see him coming towards me from the other side of the carrots. He looked almost frightened in his blue suit and little white badge. "Colin, assistant manager, here to help." I was trying to concentrate on these small details in my effort to stop laughing. "Is everything all right?" he said. And I noticed he was trying to smile in a relaxed, confident way. But because he was so nervous, his mouth kept twitching. I felt sorry for him. After all, he was probably only about 20, just a couple of years older than my Callum. My pity must have done the trick because I could feel the laughter simmer down inside. He looked relieved. "Okay," he said, looking around at the crowd which had gathered. "Everything is under control." And everything would have been fine if he hadn't then lifted his arms in a gesture that was supposed to be a gentle reminder for people to disperse, but was positioned directly above the aubergines. I started to laugh again, even harder this time, although my stomach was aching and I had got a stitch. I put both hands on my waist to support myself. If only he could have seen what he looked like. So it sounds like she's having some kind of nervous breakdown, but okay. Colin held on to my elbow and tried to steer me away from the vegetables, but I couldn't move. I felt so drained that even to me, my laughter sounded as if I was reading it out of a comic book. Ho, 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 ha, ha, ha. I was aware of Colin looking around desperately for someone to help him. "Shall I get you a nice cup of tea?" he asked, in the sort of voice you hope might soothe a child in mid-tantrum. I nodded. It might have been a cliché, but to tell the truth, a nice cup of tea was precisely what I could do with at that moment. We walked together to the supermarket cafe, his arm still on my elbow, as if he was scared I was going to run away. I could feel his hand was wet and clammy, and for the first time I felt ashamed at putting him through this. At least I had stopped laughing. I was exhausted, collapsing into the seat Colin held out for me, and gulping at my tea. "Do you have anyone we could call?" He was still looking scared, and I didn't blame him. I wasn't exactly the picture of reasonableness. I thought about my children and then rejected each one in turn. Callum would be out with his university friends, and Debbie was staying over at her friend Christine's. She spent all her time there nowadays. I called it the hippie happy house once because of all the wind chimes and burning candles Christine's mother has around. But Debbie didn't laugh. "What about your husband?" Colin was still prodding, anxious to get rid of me onto someone else. "My ex-husband is probably out on the town somewhere," I said, pretending to be 20 years younger than he is. The bitterness was so habitual, I was surprised to see Colin flinch. "Don't mind me," I tried to reassure him. "I'm just an old mad woman who goes wild in the veggie department." What was so funny? He was smiling at me now. It was as if it took me mocking my own sanity to reassure him I was all right. I thought about telling him about the book and about Jesus and about the vibrating vegetables, but I knew he wouldn't understand. Just a joke, someone told me about aubergines, I said. I was trying to look as if this explained everything, but I needn't have bothered. I could tell he was thinking about something else. My mum and dad are divorced, he said. They split up when I was 17. Divorce is hard for everybody, I said quickly. I was still feeling too sorry for myself to be interested in anyone else's pain. Dad ran off with someone younger. He was stirring his coffee round and round, gazing into the circles he'd made on the black liquid surface. Someone my age. All men are fools, I said automatically. I wanted to leave now, get back home. I'd do my shopping at another supermarket the next day. Not just someone my age, someone I knew, someone I'd been to school with. Was she your girlfriend? He'd caught my attention now. I think I'd have killed my husband if he'd run off with one of Callum's girlfriends. He shook his head. Oh, she wouldn't even look at me, he said. Latched onto my dad, though. She knew which side her bread was buttered on. Okay, so an interesting extract there from a story, I suppose, from a novel or something there, I guess. Anyway, let's have a look at the questions, I guess. So number 1, and they're going to go in order, these questions. So we'll go right to the beginning of the text again and see if we can see any evidence that will give us the right answers here. So, number 1, why did the narrator buy the book about vegetables? She wanted to improve her diet, to understand why her husband was leaving her, to give her life order, or there was something she liked about the book when she first saw it. Now, we know she went on a diet, but why did she buy the book? So let's have a look and see if we can highlight any important information here. She said, I filled in the time by going on a diet now. So we know she did go on a diet of raw vegetables. I followed the instructions. So yeah. Now, here's where I think the important information is. It says, it was, in the next sentence, it says, I followed the instructions exactly from a book I bought purely on the strength of the photograph on the front cover. That is the reason she bought the book. Why did the narrator buy the book about vegetables? It was of a model with long blonde hair, bright eyes, and the sort of smile that could only belong to rich American children. Yeah, so there was a beautiful model on the cover of the book. Why did the narrator buy the book about vegetables? I think the answer is the 4th option. There was something she liked about the book when she first saw it. It was the front cover. Yeah, I'm fairly certain about that one. We'll check the answers at the end, but yeah, I feel like there's no doubt about that one. Okay, so it says in number 2, what did the narrator particularly like about using the vegetable book? It got her to do things in public. It got her to do things in public she normally wouldn't have done. She learned a lot about vegetarian eating. It gave good advice about what to buy in supermarkets. It contrasted well with the chaos in her personal life. Okay. So, where can we find the answer to this? I think it's going to be in the second paragraph. No, she's going to say, What did the narrator particularly like about using the vegetable book? Well, she says, I loved that book in the next paragraph. I loved that book at a time when everything was falling down around me. It gave me rules to help me through my life. I even had a task to do each day with a little box to tick when I had finished. Now, so she was ticking off the tasks that she was doing each day. And then she talks about the breakup with her husband. What did she particularly like about the book? I think it has to be the last option here. I think it has to be the fourth option again. It contrasted well with the chaos in her personal life. No? When everything was falling down around me, everything was very chaotic, everything was falling apart, nothing was working. It gave me rules to help me through my life. So her life was very chaotic and it gave her some kind of order. No? Some semblance of order. Yeah, I think it's very clearly the fourth option there. Okay, number 3, it says, why did the narrator first stop laughing in the supermarket? Because the assistant manager arrived on the scene. She could see the assistant manager was in a difficult situation. She realized she wasn't happy, but actually very sad about her marriage. She felt embarrassed about laughing in front of everyone in public. Well, let's see where she stopped laughing. So we've got the description of what happened here, about the vegetables. 6 months later, I was in the supermarket, arms raised, blessing the aubergines. Okay, so here we see that she starts to laugh. Now the gurgle rose up from within me. Let's find out why she stopped laughing, right? Okay, so here we hear the gurgle's that kind of liquidy sound, but we're sort of being a bit figurative here about the laugh. It's sort of like that. It's kind of like a almost like an onomatopoeia thing. The word gurgle, onomatopoeic term, I suppose. A gurgle rose up from me and I was away. I tried everything, but I could not stop laughing. So what is it that made her stop laughing? Something made her stop laughing eventually. She goes on laughing here. I could see him coming towards me from the other side of the carrots. He looked almost frightened in his blue and white suit. The little badge. Colin, assistant manager, here to help. I was trying to concentrate on these small details in an effort to stop laughing. So she was looking at his name badge, and looking at how he was dressed and things like that and trying to stop laughing. It doesn't say she did stop laughing there. So let's carry on into the next paragraph. Is everything all right? I can't really see where she... here we go. So I noticed he was trying to smile in a relaxed, confident way because he was so nervous. Because he was so nervous, his mouth kept twitching. No? I felt sorry for him. After all, he was probably only about 20, just a couple of years older than my Callum. My pity, must have done the trick. My pity must have done the trick because I could feel the laughter simmer down inside. Yeah, she stopped laughing because she felt sorry for him now, I think. So that is most similar to which option? I think she could see the assistant manager was in a difficult situation. Now she pitied him. She felt sorry for him. Yeah. Okay, let's move on to number 4. How is the assistant manager feeling? How is the assistant manager feeling when they arrive in the cafe? Relieved that the scene is over, happy not to be working, nervous about this woman who had acted so strangely, sad about his own family problems. So when they arrive at the cafe, this is the important thing. How does he feel when they arrive at the cafe? So let's see if we can find an answer to that. He looked relieved. Okay, but this is before they get to the cafe. Steer me away from the vegetables. Shall I get you a nice cup of tea? I nodded. Okay, so here's where they get to the cafe, I think. Here's where they get to the cafe, I think. No? We walked together to the supermarket cafe. And what happened? His arm still on my elbow as if he was scared I was going to run away. I could feel his hand was wet and clammy, and for the first time I felt ashamed at putting him through this. At least I had stopped laughing. I was exhausted, collapsing into the seat that Colin held out for me and gulping at my tea. Well, that was as they were walking towards the cafe, and then they get there, and how does he feel when they get there? When they arrive at the cafe. Yeah, okay, here we go. Do you have anyone we could call? He was still looking scared, and I didn't blame him. I wasn't exactly the picture of reasonableness. I thought about my child. Yeah, I think it seems fairly clear to me that he's kind of worried about the way she's behaving and things. So I think I would have to go with the third option there. How does he feel when they arrive at the cafe? I think he's nervous about the woman who had acted so strangely. Yeah. Yeah, that's when they arrive at the cafe. Initially, he's nervous, yeah. Worried that she'll run away, didn't know how to behave, asking, is there anyone we can call? Yeah, I think he's nervous. Okay, number 5. Just 2 more to go then. So, number 5, it says, what is the first thing Colin, the assistant manager, discovers about the narrator's husband? The first thing. So, well, let's quickly look at the options. The first thing, that he is causing problems in their marriage, that he looks young for his age, that he is much younger than the narrator, that he isn't available to come and collect the narrator. Let's have a look. So here's the first mention of the husband now. What about your husband? Colin was still prodding, anxious to get rid of me onto someone else. My ex-husband is probably out on the town somewhere. Pretending to be 20 years younger than he is. Well, I guess there you'd be tempted to say that he is causing problems in their marriage, but I think technically the first thing that he learns there is that he is not her husband anymore, that he is an ex-husband. So, yeah, he can't be causing problems in a marriage which doesn't exist anymore. He's an ex-husband. So I think the only option I could go for there is the last one. He isn't available to come and collect her. Because he is no longer her husband. No, he's probably out with someone else, out on the town, no, like out partying. No, she was trying to make him sound irresponsible and whatever. But the fact of the matter is he's not her husband. So it's not that he's causing problems in their marriage. Maybe he did. But yeah, it's that he's not available. He's their ex-husband, and he's probably out doing something else. No, he's not available. So, yeah, I think I'm going to go with that one. Okay, last one. Why was Colin upset? His father had left with Colin's girlfriend. I think he said it wasn't his girlfriend, no? Colin's own parents' marriage had failed. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he said his parents are divorced and kind of looked sad about that. But anyway, we'll check. He was desperate to leave the narrator in the cafe. I don't think that's why he's upset, no. He didn't agree with what the narrator had said about men. So why is he upset? Where do we learn that he is upset, and what reason does he give for being upset? I thought about telling her. So here we go. Right, I could tell he was thinking about something else now. So he was thinking about something else. His mind was distracted. My mum and dad are divorced. They split up when I was 17. I was still feeling too sorry for myself to be interested in anyone else's. So, he talks about dad ran off with someone younger. Dad ran off with someone younger. He was stirring his coffee round and round, gazing into the circles he'd made in the black liquid surface. It was not his girlfriend. It's clearly not. Was she your girlfriend? No. He shook his head. Was she your girlfriend? No, he shook his head. She wouldn't even look at me. Yeah, I think the only thing that I can see there that resembles any of the possible answers, is Colin's own parents' marriage had failed. I think that was what was making him upset. He was thinking about the divorce of his own parents. Yeah, let's check the answers. I think I've got them all right. Oh yeah, so there you go, 6 out of 6. This gives you a grade A. Well, there you go. I'm killing my own language. Yeah, anyway, finished for today, I guess. As I said, I'll be releasing a members only video later on today as well. So if you want to get access to that, think about becoming a member. I'm going to be making a lot of members videos, exclusive content this week. As I haven't had a lot of time over the last couple of weeks, I haven't been doing that really. Haven't been making many videos at all. But yeah, today there will be a members only video coming out, and a few more this week as well. So click the blue button. Click the blue button. No, click the blue button at the bottom of this video, and check out the membership options if that's something you might be interested in. Okay, we finished. Goodbye.